So welcome everyone. I think maybe we can start. There are enough of us waiting. So first of all, thank you everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And yeah, I thought maybe today we could have an introductory session along with a bit of going into the seekers also, and maybe share where we are all coming from, why we are here today, joining tonight, what inspires us or motivates us to join. Whoever has the capacity to share, maybe we can share. And maybe first we can share on these sessions that why we thought of maybe taking up something like this, where we'll be studying lives and works also of all the disciples, not all, maybe because there are so many, uh, some of the disciples of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, where the lives are really inspirational. And even if we go through their some anecdotes, some little stories, some of their prayers and aspirations, they just are very, very inspiring. So that was one of the reasons that we thought that it would be nice to maybe share all this material. We'll also be sharing a lot of material throughout this journey. That's why we have the WhatsApp group. Uh, so PDFs and maybe whatever documentary or YouTube links, pictures, whatever is available online will be shared. And it's basically just for the delight of it, for the joy of it, for all of us who resonate with reading and knowing about inspirational lives. And you don't have to be a mother's devotee. Maybe you would maybe now get to know Mother and Sri Aurobindo through all these lives. And I know that many of us are already uh, in touch with Mother Sri Aurobindo and the other disciples and devotees, and that's why we are here. So yeah, that's a few lines from me. Taru, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, hi. I think that's basically it. But just for me personally, I think one thing that's really beautiful when we look at others, share, like, know about, say, the disciples, even the earlier life of masters and mystics, is the amazement that how there's so much similarity, right? Like how Rumi says that every life, every story is us, because somehow we feel that, okay, this is my life and it's hard, and I try, it doesn't work out, and nature is too strong and it's not my possibility. But when we see, somebody who's shining in the end, see how he became a diamond, for example, and it's not a point, right? It's a again and again back and forth journey. So when you see the struggles, when you connect with, the person behind the story which is famous, for me it's very humbling and very, very motivating. And it's like the joy and beauty of it, it's like it's immense. So I'm very happy to that we were blessed to be able to start this, so that we can, because obviously when you share, you yourself are gaining first. So yeah, thank you, that's it.
Yeah, so and would anyone want to maybe one by one, maybe we can share why we are here and what inspires us or motivates us to be here today? Shortly, it would be nice to see everyone and hear from everyone if possible. Yeah, before we start. Yeah, anyone? We can begin anywhere. Yes, Yuan. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this initiative. I don't know. I'm very happy to start this. I like very much to know and to read about and from the disciples of Sri Aurobindo Mother. I found it very inspirational. sometimes, I don't know, for me, Sri Aurobindo and Mother are like an image of my personal image of God, and then in some way, knowing the life and the processes of the yogis and the disciples who follow this path is more approachable. It's like, okay, these are human beings that have walked this path. So it helps me understand and inspires me in my own path. And in fact, I don't know all of the disciples here, maybe just half of them and some others. So it will be a great opportunity to know more. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
I'm from Argentina.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, anyone who wants to share next?
Yeah, I'm Ravi Chandran. I'm from Bangalore, and it's wonderful. I mean, I just simply jumped at this opportunity to get through, because ma'am, you had sent us those Nondita Gupta's PDF, no? I went through them, and it was, I mean, very stimulating. So it's great to be back, and looking forward to a great session. Thank you, thank you very much.
Good to see your enthusiasm, Raviji. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you for being here. Yes.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Anyone who wants to go next?
I'll go next. So my reason for joining this is primarily whatever you both start is always very good. So I don't know much about the people who were there on the poster. I haven't read much about about the mother and her writings and Sri Aurobindo. So it'll be nice to know more through this about their disciples. And another reason was that at 7:30 on Wednesday, we used to have the Harmony Circle. So I'm so used to attending those sessions of the Harmony Circle. So it will be nice to be attending this session as well. So now the Harmony Circle has been shifted, Charu, when? Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday 8:30 p.m.
Okay, okay.
8:30. Yeah, thank you.
Right. So it's good both of you have started this now. I look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you, Ritu. Yeah, anyone who wants to share next?
Hi. Thank you, Monica, for starting this. For me, frankly, I don't have a reason. When you sent a message, it was a spontaneous feeling from inside, very strong. There were no thought, there was no question, but this topic itself was, I just felt that I should, because I know nothing about any one of them. I have heard their names, and some of them I might not have heard also. So to be able to even know little bit that I would be able to know from this journey would bring me closer and closer to my own, whatever path that we all are in. So it was just that, the joy. And for me, that's a very big reason. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I think joy is the reason. Very true. Yes, thank you. Yes. Yeah, anyone who wants to share why we are here, what motivates us to join these sessions? Yes, Sulakshana ji.
Monica, firstly, I'd just like to thank you and Taru, both of you. I mean, you both have been so inspiring for me, quite some time.
Maybe we should start with our life stories. Inspirational lives.
Absolutely. And I feel so beautiful. The whole thing is so beautiful because I've never met you, either of you. And when people are saying that they don't know anybody in the poster, even I don't know anything. As a matter of fact, really, I started reading about the mother after you told me about the sunlit path. And I think every word, everything that, has been written and you people say is so inspiring. And I definitely need more inspiration. So that's what brings me here every time. And with God's grace, I'll be there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good to see the enthusiasm, really. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, anyone who wants to share why we are here? We don't have to, but if you are here, it would be nice just to share our motivation to be here. Yes, Swapna.
I'll be brief because I'm at work and I'm just sneaking this comment in. I second everything that everybody shared so far. Really, I can relate to everything. And that's why I want to be here and hope I can arrange work to not have to sneak off to make a comment or two. But I plan to at least listen while at work. And it's to connect to beautiful people like all of you, in addition to all that's been said. So through these disciples, I love that we're all alive and still here and are on this path together, and the kind of solidarity and kinship that one feels doing this together. So thank you, both of you, for doing it, and everyone for being here, and for the satsang of it all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Shilpa, you wanted to go next? Okay, I thought maybe Shilpa unmuted and she wanted to share next. Yeah, anyone else? So we have, I think most of us are well versed with each other. We have Jagan with us, I think, joining for the first time here. Jagan is in Canada right now. Jagan, would you like to share your motivation to join?
To join this session?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to learn. That the topic was also interesting. Um, this link was just shared with me by Taru ma'am. And I just want to know, like, the thing is with inspiration, I find that as good as it is to me especially, it is short-lived. I I like it's always a struggle to keep that spark, keep that motivation, kind of prolong that motivation for a while. So I just want to listen to the conversations and learn a bit on how to handle it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Jagan. I think that's our motive. Additionally, all that has been said, what you just shared, that all our inspirations are very short lived. And that's why we have to keep fueling. It's very necessary because we keep forgetting. We may have a beautiful, very enthusiastic a few days and moments, but then again, we are back in our slippery slopes. So, time to time, I think we need the fuel of more inspiration and through a variety of means. So, yes, thank you. Okay, so Abhishek is also joining and Sakshi is joining for the first time. Welcome, Abhishek and Sakshi. I hope these sessions will provide us with a lot of raw material. As I shared, we'll be sharing a lot of raw material here, which thankfully nowadays, thanks to internet, is available all on, uh, everywhere. It's just like ocean of information available. And I think if we really want to make good use of social media, then there is a possibility. We don't have to keep indulging ourselves in all the drain waters. There is quite pure waters also over there, in all that social media. So today I thought we'll start from maybe touching upon, and we'll be reading together a lot here because there would be texts and it would be also like a study sometimes, and plus maybe at times many talks we may hear. So welcome a few of us who have joined later. So today I thought that we can start with Champaklal ji, who was very, very close to Mother and Sri Aurobindo. And I can just begin by sharing how I first got in touch with his works, or uh, got to know actually who is he. And not that I know who is he, but still, his life is really, really inspiring. So I was going through again a very dark period in my life, and I needed some inspiration to just push me away from that muck in which I was again and again drawn. And somehow I just stumbled, as with happens with everyone, I just stumbled upon Champaklal Speaks. And through that I got to know of that there is a person called Champaklal who was very, very close to Mother Sri Aurobindo. And later Mother also said that, Champaklal, you have become a part of me. So that close, he served Mother and Sri Aurobindo. And his life was just full of pure devotion. He did not have that, at least what he shared was not much intellectual understanding, philosophical understanding, and like writing volumes and articles and essays like other seekers, which may have its own importance. But his only, I think what really touched me was his giving himself to the Mother and Sri Aurobindo. He just fully gave himself to Mother Sri Aurobindo. And I needed that inspiration in that phase of my life. And that really pulled me from that, drainy water in which I was again and again slipping back. Just a second. Yeah. So that's why I thought we'll maybe read something. Again, there are many, many links that I have gathered together. I won't be bombarding all of us with all the links today itself, but slowly, each disciple, each devotee is a world in itself. Just like each one of us is a world in himself, herself. So each disciple, his works, his paintings, his creations, his stories with Mother and Sri Aurobindo, letters that they exchange. So it's all a world, in itself, and we won't be able to do justice that we understand really who that person was, but maybe some fragrance of their life we will get, which will just push us further and propel us, further on the path. As Taru was sharing in the beginning, that it's very inspiring also to read these stories, because we know that just like how we keep stumbling and falling, they too, who appear like diamonds, as she was sharing, they too have stumbled and have fallen so many times. So that is no demotivation, for us, that, oh, I am unfit and they were the ones who were fit. We see that they were also making themselves fitter and fitter because they had love and devotion. Yeah. So just let me open the link.
So Monica, Champaklalji was there with Sri Aurobindo or Mother?
Both.
So he was there with them for how many years?
Yeah, actually, I am very, very bad at numbers. So if you ask me facts, I won't be able to tell you. But if you ask me the essence of it, crux of it, maybe I can touch upon it. So all these facts you would be able to know with all the links that will be shared on Google. So if you type Champaklalji, Sri Aurobindo, you would get all the facts, how many years and exactly, which place he was from. So you would get to know all that. And maybe in the information that we will share, there'll be more that will be revealed. But his almost whole his life he spent with Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Yeah. Yes. I have two home alone kids with me, so please. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to make use of this website, which is a beautiful website. I am sure some of us may know about it. It's Oroma and works of many other disciples, plus Alok Pandey, Dr. Alok Pandey's talks that we many a times are making use of. They are also here. So on this website, Oroma, we have a beautiful account of Champaklal ji that we are going to touch upon today. Yeah, so he was born on 2nd of Feb 1903. Yeah, so it would be nice if we slowly can go through this together and maybe have a collective delight of going through this. And of course, we can share reflections if there are any in between. Yeah. So we can take turns. It would be nice to read these words. This is an account of Champaklalji by Nirod Baran, who was again a very close disciple of Mother and Sri Aurobindo himself. And he shares an account of Champaklalji. It's a very good, descriptive account, very intimate. So I thought it would be nice to read this together. Yeah. Yeah. So anyone who would like to start, then please go ahead, unmute and maybe start.
Yeah, I'll start. I have been waiting. He will come straight to me. This profoundly mystical statement, uttered by Sri Aurobindo and heard inwardly by a disciple when Champaklal's health was deteriorating and there was no hope of recovery, startles and thrills us. His long period of ailment and suffering would end in his soul's union with the Supreme, his beloved Master, and enjoy eternal bliss. Who else would deserve such a wonderful consummation of his earthly life? When we look far back, we notice in his early youth how, in his first meeting with Sri Aurobindo, he lay prostrate at his feet for nearly an hour and his entire face was bathed in happy tears. Then we find Sri Aurobindo inquiring about him and asking his friends to bring him back with them. Lastly, Sri Aurobindo's surprising ecstatic embrace of his devoted disciple as a parting gift of his undying love, all these woven together prepare us in a way for the mystical utterance from Sri Aurobindo we have quoted. Add to them the mother's equally sublime statement, Champaklal, you have become a part of me. Of such a sadhak, I have been asked to speak a few words by virtue of my long association with him in the service of Sri Aurobindo and thereafter. There is much to speak and much also not to speak. We have seen, enjoyed, suffered, and shared so much in common of the Leela of the double divine incarnation, the Supreme Purusha and Prakriti on the earth. It was in early morning when I was working at the Samadhi that somebody came and whispered to me that Champaklal had passed away. There was a moment's shock, though the end had been expected. The Samadhi too heard the news. What Sri Aurobindo had waited for had happened. Time began to move on. Similar was the shock when the sudden news of Duman Bhai's passing arrived. That was an expected blow.
Yeah, maybe we can take a pause here. Thank you, Ritu. So there is also a YouTube account of Nirod Baran talking about Champaklalji, which I can share on the WhatsApp group. So there he had shared that when he first came to Sri Aurobindo, and which is described here, yeah, this one, their first meeting. So Sri Aurobindo asked, for how long are you going to be here? And that was also very touching, I found. He said that for as long as you want me here, for as long as you would want me, I'm here. So it was, I don't know, some connection, of course, from past life of what, that he was just made for Mother and Sri Aurobindo, almost like that. Yeah. And when we, again read these things, then we see that how much we lack this devotion as intellectualized beings. To anything we have trouble giving ourselves to. We just can't offer ourselves to, forget a person. We can't offer ourselves fully to anything. And just like Mother shares that human love can be actually a ladder, uh, so that we can refine it, refine it, refine it, and so that we can understand how is divine love and how unconditional and pure it is. So I see that, this kind of devotion, which is just unconditional devotion, that he's just there, he's not going anywhere, he knows that he has to be there. Very hard to find and very inspirational also, that this is our possibility. We can be free of doubts and confusions. And look at this again, this is how, this is again very beautiful. Mother saying, Champaklal, you have become a part of me. Yeah. So I think this one maybe also where he's sharing that when he was at the Samadhi, then someone shared that Champaklalji had passed away. And in the beginning, he shares, I have been waiting, he will come straight to me. And this statement is uttered by Sri Aurobindo and heard inwardly by a disciple. Now we have to know that when Champaklalji is passing on, Sri Aurobindo is not there in the physical body. So it may have been, how now when I read this, it may have been Nirodbaran himself, while he is not quoting his own name, that he heard Sri Aurobindo, since he was very, very close to him, saying that, oh, I have been waiting. And then down here, he shared that what Sri Aurobindo had waited for had happened. So quite interesting. Yeah. Yeah, anything here? Anyone before we go ahead?
No, yes, and in fact, he was like the personal attendant of Sri Aurobindo until his passing, and then he became the personal attendant of Mother all his life.
I think in one of the comments, Mother also shares that Champaklan is my lion. Like in India, we have, Ma Durga, the mother goddess, and we always see a lion along with the mother. So in
And
one,
there's a picture of both of them, like
yes,
like
yes,
this, like you would.
like that, yes, there is a picture. Yes, we may go through some pictures today also. Yeah.
Ma'am, what did Sri Aurobindo see in Champaklal that fascinated him, that made him like him so much?
I have no clue. I think we'll be reading. Don't think that I am more read than you. I'm just reading it out together with you. So,
Sure.
yeah, we'll get to know all these things. I'm hoping. Yeah.
I have a special thing to add, maybe that answers that last question, just from my experience. I and my family had the amazing good fortune of meeting Champaklalji, and this was in London. And I was only, I don't know, like 13, 14 years old. I was a teenager. I think we'd been to Pondicherry, but I was, even my first trip to Pondicherry, I remember the farm, one of the ashram farms, and the cows, and I was a kid. Anyway, my parents were like, the special person from Pondicherry has come. Do you want to come with us? And I was really typical teenager, very reluctantly. I went, thinking, oh God, one of these things mom and dad make me go to. Anyway, there I was. And then he spoke, no, he didn't speak at all. Of course, I don't even know what the program was. But then at the end, as my father is, and he said, do you want to come and meet him? People were coming forward to do their pranams, to do their namastes. And I remember thinking, oh my God, my dad makes me do all these things. Anyway, I went forward and he just smiled and looked into my eyes. And to this day, I have never forgotten the feeling. It's like he blew me open. I mean, I'd never had an experience like that, and I never have really since. I just ended up in tears, just tears streaming down my face for quite a long time afterwards. I know it was inexplicable. There was just so much love. That's when I look back on that moment. I have often gone back to it in my mind when I've been asked questions in programs or by individuals of what's the most spiritual experience of your life. And my mind's traveled back to that moment of Champaklalji simply smiling and looking into my eyes. And it was like he saw my soul. He just that, with no words. So, yes. My sister, I think, is on the call if she's able to speak. I know she's on a work day due to our time difference, but if she is, maybe she'll have more to add. Thank you.
Wow, what a blessing. Yes, what a blessing. Thank you for sharing. Maybe we can use this moment when Swapna has shared to maybe look at some pictures in between. So this is from Overman Foundation. It's again available freely online. And this is how they start, it's like a pictorial homage to Champaklalji. So it was his, I think this young he came to Sri Aurobindo Ashram to Pondicherry, and he remained, I think, there for almost all his life, rest of his life. Yeah, here we see him carrying flowers. Yeah, Champaklal with Andre. I think this would be mother's biological son, Andre, who was there for some time in ashram also. Now there are many, many pictures like that. Yeah, and this is him at Sri Aurobindo's Mahasamadhi. There are many angles from which the same picture has been taken. I saw many, many pictures like that. Yeah, okay, sure, Shilpa, no issues. Understand. Yeah. I think I also remember reading one anecdote which I found was very beautiful. Um, yeah, I think he had given a mother's picture to someone. I don't remember where I read this anecdote, but I had shared it in one of the sessions also. So he had given mother's picture. I think it was maybe Nirod Baran sharing this account picture to someone, and that picture that person lost. And when that picture did not come back to him, mother's picture being lost, he really, like, it was like a dark cloud really, came upon him, and he was like, face was going to become red, and he was going to be very furious. And then suddenly he just became very calm about it, and he said that, oh, I have lost like so many things in my life, maybe one more. So that was also again, that a sadhak's yoga, because we talk about, how do I take care of my anger? Oh, I am so angry. So at this stage, such a person, very, very close to mother, direct force acting upon him all the time. And yet, there can be moments when anger can overwhelm him. But I think what is the beauty here is that he chose not to be overwhelmed by the anger. It was like a dark cloud came, but he did not listen to the dictate. So the tendency was there, still there, even with Mother Shri Aurobindo being very, very close. And that is why they say that the transformation of nature is so hard, so difficult. But what I found beautiful was that this is the magnanimity, this is the humility, that he said, oh, but I have lost so many things in my life, maybe one more, something like that. And he didn't let the anger overrule him, which he could have, which we see that in earlier times, it may have happened that he was very angry and furious. Yeah. And it also, the later on stages, the pictures become more, somehow more glorious, we see, as he aged further. Somehow there was much, with the light that Swapna was sharing, I saw like a complete, I don't know, from pictures it seems like a complete change of the personality. Even later than this, how old he looks here, even later, the eyes are really glowing brightly. Yeah, this picture, I think, Yuan, you were referring to this one. Yeah. And this is Nirodbaran and Champaklal. Yeah, I'm talking of this age in particular, 1986. In these pictures, where he looks like this, his eyes are like really beaming. Yeah, these ones that are coming now. Look at this. Yeah. Yes. And much more again. So, yeah, I think maybe we can go forward. Yes, from here. Would anyone want to read next?
I can read. Champaklal had endeared himself to all of us, young and old, by some inborn psychic quality that cast a spell and attracted people. His external features added to it in no small measure. He was conscious of the truth that he was engaged in the service of the divine, that the divine was his father and mother, but he made no ado about it. How did I come into a close contact with such a dedicated soul, a man in many respects my contrast? Our first contact was, however, not pleasant. It was rather a confrontation. When I came to the ashram, my attention was drawn to him by friends saying that he was Sri Aurobindo's personal attendant. His half-bare, robust body with a smooth, shining skin, a Brahminical thread across his chest, his flowing hair and beard. In a word, he was an embodied high priest. And of course, everyone was whispering the awe-inspiring praise that he was Sri Aurobindo's personal attendant. I had no occasion to meet him till a few years later. One day he came to the dispensary for medical help. I happened to be in charge of the dispensary. Suddenly, on some flimsy excuse, both of us burst into hot temper, almost an explosion. In my medical report, I narrated the incident to the mother. At that time, I enjoyed some intimacy with Sri Aurobindo. He wrote back, outbursts of that kind are too common with him. And when heat meets with heat, it is almost midsummer now. The breath of the master's humor made me burst into a hearty laugh, and all was quiet.
Yeah, maybe we can take a pause. Thank you. For those of us who have read even a little bit of writings of, Nirod Baranji, we would see that why he's saying that such a dedicated soul, a man in many respects, my contrasts. Because we see that, when he came first in contact with Mother Sri Aurobindo, although it's not that he did not have practical, rich experience, intense experiences, and yet his personality was full of doubts and questioning, and it's lots of humor also, so we see that how in his writings, as if the divine has used his personality to give us such a remarkable detailed account of Mother and Sri Aurobindo and their lives, which again is a very special thing. So through his questioning, through his doubting attitude, the ability of question even the divine. I think with that we get such interesting glimpses and humorous accounts of Mother and Sri Aurobindo's life, which are again very very special. So that's why he says here that here is a person who doesn't question the divine at all, and here am I who is just questioning, and the divine again, compassionately is responding back all the times. Yeah. Yeah, anything here? Anyone wants to share anything?
It kind of surprised me that this aspect of him, because if you read like Champaklal speaks, such a he has a childlike innocence, and it's such a sweet man. You don't get to think that maybe he was so tempered.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can go forward. Yeah, anybody who wants to read next?
Yes, ma'am. Now I was thrown into the company of such a man by an adverse fate when Sri Aurobindo broke his right thigh in 1938. But the adversity turned into golden opportunity by the alchemic touch of Sri Aurobindo's grace, and we became sweet friends for long decades. I felt as if we had been together for many past lives in spite of our outer differences in nature and temperament. We served Sri Aurobindo for 12 years, slept together in the same room, and shared our services amicably without any serious interruption by our egos. I have paid genuine tribute to him in my book, 12 Years with Sri Aurobindo, so I need not repeat it. Throughout these long 12 years, one thing I've learned from him, which has come as a revelation, it is his deep love for the mother and Sri Aurobindo, a love which is rare to find in this material world of ours. Perhaps it was quite a common feature in the Vedic and Upanishadic days when the disciple was an integral part of the Guru's life. An utter, an utter self-abnegation and sacrifice, obviating all physical necessities, and a single dominant note in his consciousness: how to serve the divine Guru who need nothing, asked for nothing, yet was pleased with the bhakta's service of love and devotion. When I used to go away after my duty for hours in the evening, it was he alone who remained with Sri Aurobindo and enjoyed the beatitude of his silent, all sufficing company. It was not without reason that he prided himself on being called Hanuman.
Yeah, thank you. So I think this is is what Yuan was also sharing, that what comes hits you in the face when you read anything about Champaklalji is this, that undoubted devotion and undeserved surrender and love. So I hope at one point of time we'll also get to this 12 years with Sri Aurobindo, which is by Nirod Baranji, which is again very beautiful account. And again, he has also written another few things like memorable contacts with the mother, which again is very intimate account of mother's life and his connection with the mother. Yeah. Yeah, would anyone want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll read. What he did at this time was revealed to me long after Sri Aurobindo has passed away. He was taking notes of many significant casual remarks made by the mother and Sri Aurobindo on various topics. The daily routine work appeared to him important, but for me it was trivial and therefore to be left out of our talks. Now it appears in a different light. Of those notes, I shall supply a number of instances which will give the key to the sealed heart of the bhakta. Here are some of the notes made by Champaklal. They bring us rare truths of both his inner and outer life. 1926. While giving Sri Aurobindo's dish to me, Mother said, "The being which we want to manifest in you demands complete surrender. They are four brothers. One of them wants to manifest in you, and he is waiting for you to be ready. He wishes that I should work in you." Another day she said, "The being has entered in you." The mother was seated on a chair. Meditation started, and an occult workup commenced. What was standing in my way was removed. When everything was finished, I got up and embraced Mother. She took me in her arms and held me for a long time. I surrendered myself completely to her. She held me pressed like a child and made me a divine child. Later, I was told that when she mentioned it to Sri Aurobindo, he said, Champaklal has become a demigod.
Yeah. Maybe we take,
1920.
we'll
Okay.
take a pause here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, anything anyone wants to share? Yes.
It's like it's maybe for me not so easy to understand what this means, but I think in different stages of the occult work of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, there was this time when they were trying to make that some disciples embody beings from the over mental plane. And this was kind of a stage in the sadhana, in the occult work that they were doing, and this represents something like that, that he could surrender completely and embody this high consciousness from the mental plane.
Yeah, quite possible. Yes. The thing is that how empty one has to become of oneself in order to open yourself completely, to Mother Shri Aurobindo, or to any other master, that okay, now you do whatever you want to do with me. I think this undoubted thing, I don't know, somehow our minds have become so full of doubt and confusion nowadays with all our studies and that it's so hard and rare to find such an opening to the divine or any other master, any avatar. So hard, so hard. Because we see, as I think Taru mentioned in the beginning, that we see what he became, but we don't realize how empty he became of himself so that he can become who Mother and Sri Aurobindo wanted him to become. That to become empty of ourselves, I think that is our challenge. That is what all of us, struggle with. How can I become empty of myself? And this is not the first time. I think this comes to us, like with the Shri Krishna. We share, talk about the Bansuri. There is also a bhajan, a song, where the gopis who are very very close in touch with Shri Krishna, they are very jealous of the Bansuri, the flute, because they say that we are very jealous of you because you are always on Krishna's lips, but we are not there. you know. And the Bansuri says, because I am empty of myself, that's why I am able to, he is able to pass his breath through me. So I think in Mother's prayers and meditations also this comes again and again, that utter self abnegation, that absolutely becoming empty of yourself. And through this we get to know that this is a possibility. This happens, can happen. And of course, to someone it can be Mother Shri Aurobindo, to someone it can be through some other, avatar, through some other guru, master, whoever, There are so many forms of divine. But this exclusive opening and empty, being empty of yourself, this really strikes a chord. Yeah. Because हमको तो we are always in doubt. Oh, but if I become empty, maybe that person can make use of me. Maybe he can exploit me. How do I know he has good intentions? So all these things come. But in this case, we see that there was so much deep a connection and love with Mother and Shri Aurobindo that there was no possibility of doubt creeping in. And that's why there is only one Champaklal. There are not 10 and 15 Champaklals. There is only one. Yeah. Swapna, you wanted to add on something?
Yeah, I didn't know that comment about he's become a semi-god. But really, when I was speaking earlier and sharing that experience of meeting him, we're like talking, we're going back 40 years here. But I felt like my whole body vibrating, and that same feeling of being like I'm going to be in tears again, and it's being touched by love. And so it's also just that amazing transmission when something like that occurs, or what occurred with Champaklalji and with the grace of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, that whole phenomena is really a phenomena. Because as I was saying, I really was a child that thought I knew, well, I didn't know anything. God knows it was something from past lives, but at that point there was no awareness of being in the yoga or really anything, not in my conscious mind. When I look back, I realized from very, very young there was some pull to something. But just that ability that can still be with me after so many decades, right? That I feel it. It's like, thank you for the session. And I also, like one of the people shared, I just felt like I had to be on the session today. And I think it's just this power to like, it reminds me, just thinking about that look in my eyes, which lasted only some seconds, really, good 10, 15 seconds, but that it like literally pierces the souls and blows you open to something in some other realm. So it's that promise. It's like, here we are on these sessions looking at these amazing lives, but really, I can stand as someone on this call as proof in this moment of being able to feel how powerful that is to be touched in that way by someone in the human body, that is of another realm at the same time. And he was also very, very old when I met him, very small and frail, and still so powerful.
Amazing. Maybe you can, spread some touch of that you have got to all of us and share his touch with all of us. Yeah, Jagan, you want to add on anything?
Yes. So as Swapna ma'am was telling about her experience with Champaklal, I've noticed that um, his observation and his keenness with which he looked at her is what may have impacted. And also, from the whole entire conversation, I've noted a few things, that how Champaklal was, he had this purity in him, and also his importance to the most simple and trivial things, on how he was giving that much attention. And when I compare that with our generation, there was also an example about how his approach was that of the people of the disciples in the Guru from a different yug. Like, it didn't mention about the yug, but when I talk about Kali Yug, I find that the demons of Kali Yuga are not external but are within a person. So when I say that, let's imagine that I meet a spiritual leader or a spiritual guru. The demons in a person, like the demons of laziness, inconsistency, anger, desire, sadness, all these demons, they make a person become extremely conscious of their standing, and they try to hide these demons, and in the process they come out as you know as filtered, and they don't come out as original. What Champaklal was, and what we are, like, not we but most of us are not, is he had no such demons. He was very pure from within. And I also understand that it takes a great leader to see that in a person, and to recognize and to admire it. So yeah, it was quite a learning for me. And um, I think this is one of the biggest reasons why it's not about intelligence. I mean, intelligence is one of the factors, but the other factor is that everyone has these demons in them which kind of prevent them to have that level of purity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jagat. Okay, so maybe we can take one more anecdote and then we can, for today, end here. So maybe this one, 1928. Starting from here, if anyone would like to go through us, like read it out aloud for us, would be nice.
I'll go. 1928. Mother said this afternoon, when you were coming with the tray of fruit juice, Sri Aurobindo saw you coming through the shutters of the meditation hall and said, Champaklal looks magnificent. He looks like a priest. It was before 1938. I used to wash Sri Aurobindo's dhoti every day and dry it. Once it so happened that I need clips to hold the cloth for drying it. That day, Purushottam had presented my chit to the mother for signing. She asked me, why do you want so many clips? You can come and see my cloth, I said with some force. She kept quiet, but the next day she told me very sweetly, Champaklal, you know people were saying, how can Champaklal talk to the mother like that? I did not realize what was wrong at all and exclaimed, what is there? Again she remained quiet. It was much later that I realized that something was wrong in my attitude. I wanted to offer something to the mother. I got the idea of painting two lotuses, one white and the other red. Curiously, I received two beautiful lotuses that day and took up the painting. When it was finished, I took them to mother with great joy on my birthday, 2nd February 1940. She received the painting and said, "Oh, very pretty, very pretty." Then she said with a broad smile, "I give it to you, Champaklal. Take it. It is for you." I did not answer, then said, "Mother, I have done it for you." She gave another broad smile and said slowly, "Champaklal, I will take it to Sri Aurobindo and ask him to write upon it." I said, "Mother, if so, how nice it would be if you ask him to write its significance. He will write on the white lotus and you will write on the red." Mother brought it to Sri Aurobindo. I was there. She showed it to him and said, "See how nice it is. Today is his birthday. He has done it for me. If you write the significance on it, I will give it to him. He also wishes that you write on the white lotus and I on the red." With a beautiful, affectionate smile, he wrote on top of the whiter lotus, Aditi, the Divine Mother, and below the red lotus, to Champaklal with blessings, Sri Aurobindo. After writing, he looked at me and gave a sweet smile. On the top of the red lotus, Mother wrote, the avatar Sri Aurobindo. Mother asked me to show them to anyone. Mother asked me not to show them to anybody.
Yeah. There was actually a picture of these, I don't know, maybe not on this page. The lotuses that he drew, there was also a picture. Yeah, maybe I'll find it later. Any thoughts?
I do have something. It's like somehow one believes that a thing coming from mental domain, okay, if I have to say 10 people I know and one of them has written, I don't know, like you started, right? Like say 20 books. The other one has given that conference in Chicago. That third one has given, like we are so focused on the actuality, the materialistic movement, or the book in my hand, the published notes. And I feel that yes, this person, oh wow, I wish I could be like that. And yet you realize that the mental domain has its limits, right? Like how much will I question? How much will I, like say, we shared this, that how it was said that, there are four brothers and one of them wants to enter and now he's a demigod. And that's where my mind can get stuck, right? But that's absolutely useless, right? Because I don't know how things work. I will never know what four brothers, even if I know them, they will have no use to me. What I fail to see is the surrender with which the emptiness that you were talking about, that how he could make it empty so that whatever had to be entered, which we will never know, can enter. So for me to even stop myself from focusing where I always focus, right? How did it work? What are the analytics, the workings behind it? Like, and when I'm reading, say something about, say a disciple like Champaklal, who was just, who didn't exist, right? Like in all the pictures, he was not kind of, straightening his hair or kind of, his eyes were just on Sri Aurobindo, his eyes were just on the mother. And that's what we keep hearing about him, right? Like as if he doesn't exist. And yet when I hear about him, I want to know the workings of things, right? Why was and stuff. So just realizing that that's my limitation and I too can transcend it, right? Like now I have an option that if I am learning about how can one just be empty or be love and just be available without me blocking my own way. If I can try and still, kind of move through my mental chatter and my logics and reasoning, which we all realize that, they take you to a place and then they also have to wait and then something else, goes beyond. It's really, it's a different dimension, right? If one is willing to look at it that way, that I have thought enough, I have analyzed enough, and now when I'm seeing pure love at service, let me feel the love with which he must have done it. Let me feel how, like rejoice in their joy. And what, Jagan was saying, that how he was impure, sorry, pure. I apologize. I didn't see that somehow. I saw that there were so many things, like say he's talking to her like that, or you when you shared about the dark cloud incidents, and that is why I think reading about such mystical souls again is very important, because they are not different than I. He too got angry. He too had a mood. He too had, he wanted more, and so do I. And yet, with faith and under grace, he was able to transcend. Like how, Sri Aurobindo is saying that he has those outbursts frequently. And how Sapna is saying that, all she felt, she has never felt a look more with love, right? So that's transcendence, right? And we all have the demons, and they have always been inside, outside and inside. And that's the journey to, I think, transcend. If we see them now just as, again, as just pure, then we'll miss the point that they are like me, and just like them, I too can transcend. And that's the whole point, I think. Yeah, so just wanted to
Absolutely,
share.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. And I think as Mother talks about that, the only transformative power is love. That's what we see winning here. That it's not that, as you rightly said, that it's not that the demons are not there, but the love and devotion for Mother and Sri Aurobindo is much more powerful. It has more priority than letting the demons run wild. So one is able to slowly, gradually, in amount of that, love being there, devotion being there, one has the ability that, oh, this is nothing in front of what I have for them, and one can slowly transcend. And I think I also feel this in human relationships, that at times when my moods are more powerful than love between, in two human beings or in a family, then I feel that there is just one thing lacking, which is lack of love. And if love can be greater, more stronger power, then the mood has no standing. And we see that happening, that in relationships where there is more, love is there, more amount of love is there, there little trivia you can easily ignore. You don't let the moods overrun you. What is more important is harmony, love, care for that person. But then there are other relationships in which our sense of ego is attached, and we have to transcend and maybe increase the amount of love and decrease the amount of demons, as was shared. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Very, very important. Yes, Swapna.
I had, just to kind of piggyback on what Taru was saying just now, of that's what struck me earlier too. Like I had either forgotten or not remembered or heard that he had such a temper, And what struck me is like those moments when I've had the thought, when I've been at my most miserable or at my worst self, or had my temper expressed at those I love, and then been so ashamed and felt so small. And in the past, I used to even frame that feeling of feeling so bad as like I'm a bad child of God, like I'm somehow unworthy of being loved by the mother or by God. And to see how much he was loved, right? Champaklalji, despite his temper. And so just like, again, this kind of validation of, oh, wow, really, no matter how we are worthy of God's love, and they and the mother loves me, loves us, and it's it's just beautifully reassuring and comforting, with all our flaws and everything, and that the door is always open.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, so this was the image that he drew and painted. And it is said, which maybe we can come to later on also, that he was actually a very interesting painter. And not only that, that he was also Claude Monet, if you know, the impressionist French painter, I think, uh, like very, very famous. If you look Claude, Monet, you would find that. So these are his creations, Champaklalji's creations. Yeah. And Mother has also called him a being of aspiration. So we see that aspiration towards further purification, towards further devotion, love, service, surrender. This is all done by him. Yeah, and then he also made some graphic designs and marbling, I don't know all what See, you know. He had many visions also, written many prayers and aspirations, which again, slowly, one by one, will come to. So this is sketch of a vision, sketch after seeing a vision, and then sketch of a vision. So it's what I can see written here is ma 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 ma. So this design that you see here inside the heart is ma 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 ma. That's what I see here. And then there was something called marbling, which also he created. I thought I'll just share. Yes, here. So quite an artist. And I think then mother actually gave several of his these paint creations names. Whatever she saw there, then she, like this one, I think passage towards future, passage future, maybe written in French. The first one, truth will conquer in spite of the turmoil. These are given by mother herself. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Any last comments? Any reflections? Anyone?
It is said that Sri Aurobindo was in some way impersonal in his treat with the disciples, and he usually didn't call them by their names and things like that. And it is said that when the day Sri Aurobindo was leaving his body, he was in a coma, but he was like regaining consciousness and then going back, and he had like many times like a physical hug to Champaklal, like something very unusual for him to do. So I think that speaks about how close and how important he was for me.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe before ending the session, maybe just taking last silent moment and just sharing all this merit, delight, joy, inspiration with all the sentient beings. May we all have this delight and joy of collective progress and inspiration. Okay, so thanks everyone. Thank you for joining in. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Monica, and
Wish you-
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
God bless you all.